Dr. Lisa Montgomery's day at Europa Station started like any other. She checked her medical supplies, reviewed patient files, and drank her morning coffee. But today was different. It was the first day alien doctors would work alongside the human medical team. The new medical facility on Europa Station was bright and clean. Its white walls held both human and alien medical equipment. Dr. Montgomery watched as the tall, blue-skinned alien doctor, Dr. Zixveth, moved gracefully through the emergency room. His four eyes blinked in different patterns as he studied the human medical charts. "Your species operates at such high radiation levels," Dr. Zixveth said, his translator making his words sound slightly mechanical. "How do you survive?" Lisa smiled. "Our bodies are built for it. Earth's radiation levels are much higher than your homeworld." Their conversation was cut short by a loud alarm. Red lights flashed across the medical bay. "Warning, minor radiation leak detected in Section 4, the computer announced. "All personnel must evacuate immediately." Dr. Zixveth's skin turned a pale blue. "We must leave now. These radiation levels are lethal." But Lisa didn't move. Instead, she checked her radiation badge. "It's within safe limits for humans," she said calmly. "We have a patient coming in with a broken leg. I need to stay." The alien doctor's four eyes widened in shock. "But the radiation, it will kill you." "This level? No, it won't. Humans can handle this just fine," Lisa explained as she prepared the treatment room. "It's about the same as getting an X-ray." Dr. Zixveth watched in amazement as Lisa continued working. His medical sensors showed radiation levels that would seriously harm his species, yet the human doctor moved around as if nothing was wrong. The patient arrived, a maintenance worker who had fallen during routine repairs. As Lisa treated the broken leg, Dr. Zixveth carefully documented everything he saw. He noted how both the doctor and patient seemed unaffected by what his species considered deadly radiation levels. "Fascinating," he whispered, typing notes into his tablet. "Their cellular structure must be incredibly resilient." After the patient was treated, the radiation leak was fixed. The warning lights stopped flashing, and the station returned to normal. Dr. Zixveth approached Lisa as she updated the patient's medical file. "Dr. Montgomery," he said, his voice filled with respect, "I must admit, I had doubts about working with humans. Your species seemed fragile at first glance. I was wrong." Lisa looked up from her work. "We're tougher than we look, Dr. Zixveth. Humans have evolved to survive in pretty harsh conditions." Indeed, the alien doctor agreed. "Today's incident will make an interesting first entry in my research about human resilience. With your permission, I would like to study more about human medical cases." "Of course," Lisa replied. "We have a lot to learn from each other. This is why the joint medical facility was created." As their shift ended, Dr. Zixveth watched Lisa check on her patient one last time. He had come to Europa Station thinking he would teach humans about advanced alien medicine. Instead, he had learned something surprising about humans on the very first day. In his personal log that evening, Dr. Zixveth wrote, "First day at Europa Station has challenged everything I thought I knew about biological resilience. Humans are remarkable creatures. They continue working in conditions that would kill most species, and they do it without seeming to notice. I suspect this is just the beginning of many surprises about human capabilities. Further research is definitely needed." The joint medical facility on Europa Station was meant to bring different species together to share medical knowledge. But for Dr. Zixveth, it had already become something more, a place to unlock the mysteries of humanity's incredible toughness. And this was only day one. The emergency alert sounded through Europa Station's medical bay 3 weeks after the radiation incident. Dr. Zixveth was ready this time, having learned that human emergencies often defied alien medical expectations. "Multiple casualties incoming from Ice Tunnel 7, the computer announced. "Pressure suit failure. First patient arriving in 2 minutes." Dr. Lisa Montgomery rushed to prep the trauma room, while Dr. Zixveth prepared his specialized scanning equipment. The doors slid open, and the medical team watched in shock as Kevin Martinez walked in by himself, his damaged pressure suit hanging in pieces around him. "Sorry to bother you, docs," Kevin said, breathing heavily. "But we've got 3 people trapped in the tunnel. I need to help coordinate the rescue." Blood froze in patches on his exposed skin, and his lips had a slight blue tint. Dr. Zixveth's medical scanner dropped from his hands. "Impossible. Your suit failed 12 minutes ago. You should be." He paused, checking his data again. "You should be dead." "Nah, I'm fine," Kevin said, trying to stand up from the bed they made him sit on. "Just a bit cold. Look, those miners need help." "You will stay right there," Lisa ordered, pushing him back down. "The rescue team knows their job. You've got severe frostbite and decompression exposure." Dr. Zixveth moved his 4 eyes between his scanner and the human patient. "Your body temperature is 31 degrees Celsius. Your blood shows micro-ice crystals. You have partial lung collapse from vacuum exposure. How are you conscious? How are you talking?" Kevin shrugged, then winced. It was only for a few minutes. The suit sealed most areas before complete failure. I just had to walk half a kilometer to the station airlock. "No big deal. No big deal." Dr. Zixveth's skin changed to a pale green color of disbelief. "You survived conditions that would instantly kill most known species." While Lisa treated Kevin's frostbite, Dr. Zixveth documented everything. He noted how the human remained alert despite injuries that his medical training said should cause unconsciousness or death. Even more surprising was Kevin's constant attempts to get up and help with the rescue mission. "Please," Kevin said for the 5th time. "I know those tunnels better than anyone. I can guide the rescue team." "You can guide them through the comm system," Lisa said firmly, applying healing gel to his frozen skin. "After we treat you." Dr. Zixveth watched in fascination as Kevin coordinated the rescue from his bed, calmly giving directions despite his severe injuries. Within an hour, all 3 trapped miners were saved, thanks to his guidance. "Now will you take something for the pain?" Lisa asked, seeing Kevin's tight expression. "Yeah, okay," he agreed finally. "Mission's done anyway." As Lisa gave him pain medication, Dr. Zixveth made more notes. "Remarkable. You delayed your own treatment to help others, functioning through conditions that should have made conscious thought impossible." "It's what anyone would do," Kevin mumbled, the medicine finally making him drowsy. Later that evening, after Kevin was sleeping and stable, Dr. Zixveth reviewed his notes with Lisa. "In my century of medical practice, I have never seen anything like this," he said. "Your species, you ignore physical limitations that stop others. You keep moving when biology says you should be paralyzed with pain or unconscious from trauma." Lisa smiled, checking Kevin's vitals one more time. "Humans are stubborn that way. We don't like being told what we can't do, even by our own bodies." "I am beginning to understand that," Dr. Zixveth replied. "When I first arrived, I thought human medicine would be simple. Now I realize your species rewrites the rules of what is medically possible." In his medical report that night, Dr. Zixveth added a new section titled Human Pain Tolerance and Survival Instincts. Under it, he wrote, "Standard medical knowledge fails to explain human capabilities. Their bodies can survive extreme conditions, but their will to help others despite their own injuries may be their most remarkable trait. Further study is essential to understand these biological titans who walk among us." Kevin Martinez was released from the medical bay 3 days later, much sooner than any alien doctor predicted. He went right back to work in the ice tunnels, leaving Dr. Zixveth with more questions than answers about human toughness. The gravity generator malfunction happened during the night shift at Europa Station. Dr. Amy Chen was working late in her lab, studying alien bacterial samples, when the artificial gravity suddenly increased to 3 times normal Earth gravity. Then, just as quickly, it dropped to near zero. The sudden change threw her across the lab. She hit several metal cabinets before landing hard on the floor when gravity returned to normal. The impact broke 3 ribs, her left arm, and cracked her hip. Dr. Zixbeth was on duty when they brought her in. His medical scanner showed multiple fractures, and he prepared himself to deliver bad news about a very long recovery. Based on these injuries, he told her carefully, "You will need at least 6 months of complete rest, perhaps longer. For most species, these breaks would need nearly a year to heal properly." Amy looked at the scans floating above her bed and frowned. 6 months? No way. I have important research to finish. Give me 6 weeks. 6 weeks. All 4 of Dr. Zixbeth's eyes blinked rapidly in shock. That is not possible. The bone density scans clearly show. "You're using alien healing rates," Dr. Lisa Montgomery said as she walked into the room. "Humans heal faster than that. Much faster." Dr. Zixbeth didn't believe them at first. He checked his medical books, consulted with doctors from 5 different alien species, and monitored Amy's progress daily. What he saw amazed him. 3 weeks after the accident, Amy was already sitting up in bed, working on her research tablet. The bone scans showed healing that should have taken months. "Fascinating," Dr. Zixbeth said, studying the latest scans. "Your bones are knitting together at an incredible rate. How is this possible?" "Human bodies are good at repairs," Amy said, not looking up from her work. "We break easily, but heal quickly. It's how we survived on Earth." At 4 weeks, Amy insisted on trying to walk. The alien medical staff watched nervously as she took her first steps with the walker. "This is too soon," one of the alien nurses whispered. "Her hip bone cannot be strong enough yet." But Amy kept walking. Each day she went a little further. By week 5, she was walking with just a cane. Dr. Zixbeth documented everything. He recorded how the human bone cells multiplied and rebuilt the damaged areas faster than any species he had studied. He noted how Amy pushed through pain that his sensors said should be too intense for movement. "Your pain readings are still very high," he told her during one checkup. "Yet you walk and work as if they were minor." Amy shrugged, then winced slightly at the movement. "Pain is just information. It tells me to be careful, but it doesn't have to stop me." At 6 weeks, just as Amy had predicted, she returned to light duties in her lab. She still had some pain, and she couldn't lift heavy things yet, but she was working. Dr. Zixbeth called a meeting with other alien doctors to discuss what they had seen. They gathered in the medical conference room, looking at Amy's recovery scans with disbelief. "This healing rate should not be possible," said one doctor from a crystal-based species. "Humans are constantly surprising us," Dr. Zixbeth replied. "First, their radiation resistance, then their survival abilities, and now this remarkable healing rate." Later that day, he found Amy back at work in her lab, studying her alien bacteria samples, as if nothing had happened. She was still using a cane, but she moved with confidence. "You have changed how we think about healing," he told her. "Your case will be studied by alien medical students for years to come." Amy smiled. "Just wait until you see how fast humans heal from other injuries. This was nothing special. We're built to take damage and bounce back. It's what we do." Dr. Zixbeth added a new note to his growing research file. "Human healing capabilities exceed all known medical models. Their bodies repair damage at rates that defy conventional biological understanding. Combined with their remarkable pain tolerance, this makes humans capable of recovery that borders on regeneration. Standard medical recovery timelines do not apply to this extraordinary species." The Grand Medical Hall on Europa Station was packed with alien doctors from 20 different species. They had all come to hear Dr. Zixbeth's presentation about human medical records. The room buzzed with different languages as the alien doctors talked among themselves. Dr. Lisa Montgomery sat in the front row, feeling a bit nervous. She knew what was coming would change how aliens saw humans forever. "Distinguished colleagues," Dr. Zixbeth began, his 4 eyes scanning the crowd. "What I am about to show you will challenge everything we know about biological life." The lights dimmed, and a hologram appeared above the stage. It showed human medical records from Earth. This human lived for 30 years with only one lung, Dr. Zixpeth said, pointing to the first case. This one lost 70% of their liver, but grew it back. And this human survived with just one kidney for 50 years. The alien doctors started whispering to each other. Many checked their translators, sure they had heard wrong. A doctor with scales and glowing spots stood up. "These must be mistakes," she said. "No species can function with missing organs like this." "I thought the same," Dr. Zixpeth replied. "But I have seen it myself. Humans are different. They have backup systems we don't understand." He showed more cases. Humans who survived falling from great heights, others who lived through extreme temperatures, some who recovered from injuries that would kill most species. Their bodies can adapt to almost anything, he explained. They heal faster than any species we know. They ignore pain that would stop others, and their will to survive is stronger than their biological limits. A crystalline doctor raised a glowing appendage. "Are you saying humans are some kind of super species?" "No," Dr. Lisa stood up to answer. "We're just built to survive. Earth was a dangerous place. We had to be tough to live there." Dr. Zixpeth nodded and showed more images. Humans can live in temperatures from -50 to +50 degrees Celsius. They can go days without water. They can heal from wounds that would kill most species, and they do all this without any genetic engineering. The room got very quiet. The alien doctors looked at each other with worry. Some took notes quickly. Others just stared. "But the most amazing thing," Dr. Zixpeth continued, "is their brain. Human pain tolerance lets them keep working even with serious injuries. Their bodies might be dying, but they refuse to stop." He showed videos from Europa Station. Kevin Martins walking with a broken pressure suit. Annie Chen healing faster than anyone thought possible. Humans working through radiation that would kill other species. "We must change how we think about human medicine," Dr. Zixpeth said. "They are not like us. They are stronger than we imagined." After the presentation, many alien doctors wanted to study humans more. Others seemed scared. One group talked about changing their military agreements with Earth. "Did we just make things worse?" Lisa asked Dr. Zixpeth later. Some of them looked afraid. "They should be impressed, not afraid," he replied. "Your species survived things that would kill others. That's not scary. It's amazing." That evening, news about the presentation spread through the galaxy's medical networks. Messages poured in from alien doctors wanting to learn more about humans. Dr. Zixpeth sat in his office, reading the messages. He added one final note to his research. Humans are not biological anomalies. They are the ultimate survivors. Their bodies break every rule we thought we knew about life, and we have only begun to understand what they can do. Lisa looked at the note and smiled. "Wait until they learn about human children," she said. "Kids heal even faster than adults." Dr. Zixpeth's skin turned pale at the thought. There was still so much to learn about these incredible beings called humans. The explosion in Europa Station's power core shook the entire station. Alarms screamed through every corridor. Red emergency lights flashed as smoke filled the lower levels. "Multiple casualties incoming," the computer announced. "Prepare all medical bays." Nurse Peter Collins was just finishing his 12-hour shift when the explosion happened. Instead of leaving, he quickly put his medical uniform back on. "I'm staying," he told Dr. Zixpeth. "You'll need every hand you can get." The medical bay filled quickly with injured humans and aliens. Some had burns. Others had broken bones from being thrown by the blast. The air smelled of smoke and medicine. Dr. Lisa Montgomery organized the medical teams. "Humans handle the radiation burn cases," she ordered. "Alien staff focus on the crush injuries. Work in 4-hour shifts to stay fresh." But as the hours went by, something strange happened. The alien medical staff had to switch teams every 4 hours, saying they were too tired to continue. Yet the human medical team kept working. Hour after hour, Peter moved from patient to patient. He cleaned wounds, gave medicines, and helped doctors with treatments. His hands were steady even after 20 hours of work. "You must rest," one of the alien nurses told him. "Your species cannot handle such long periods of work." Peter just shook his head and grabbed more medical supplies. "I'll rest when everyone's taken care of," he said, moving to help another patient. Dr. Zixbeth watched in amazement as the human medical team worked through the night. He documented everything in his research notes. 24 hours since the explosion, he wrote. Human medical staff showing no significant decrease in performance. They refuse rest periods despite clear physical fatigue. How do their bodies maintain this level of function? At hour 30, the alien medical staff could not believe their eyes. Peter was still working, his movements slower but still accurate. He had only taken short breaks to drink water and eat quick meals. "Your body should have shut down from exhaustion," Dr. Zixbeth told him during one of these breaks. Peter shrugged, sipping his coffee. "This is nothing. During my emergency room training on Earth, we sometimes worked 48 hours when big disasters happened. Humans can push through when we need to." The alien doctor's 4 eyes blinked in surprise. 48 hours, without sleep. "Well, we grab naps when we can," Peter said. 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there. It's not ideal, but it works. By hour 36, the emergency was finally over. All patients were stable, and the power core was fixed. The human medical team had worked almost nonstop, while 3 full shifts of alien medical staff had come and gone. When Peter finally sat down, he had been awake and working for almost 40 hours. The alien doctors gathered around him, scanning his vital signs with their medical devices. "Incredible," one alien doctor said. "His body is tired but still functioning. Our species would be unconscious after such effort." Dr. Lisa Montgomery, who had also worked through the entire emergency, smiled tiredly. "Humans evolved to handle long periods of stress," she explained. "Our ancestors had to hunt for days sometimes, or stay awake to watch for dangers. We can push ourselves when we need to." Dr. Zixbeth added a new section to his research, Human Endurance Limits. In it, he wrote, "Their ability to continue functioning under extreme fatigue goes beyond physical explanation. While their bodies show normal signs of exhaustion, their minds can push through barriers that would stop most species. This combination of physical stamina and mental determination makes humans capable of extraordinary feats of endurance." As Peter finally headed to his quarters to sleep, the alien medical staff watched him with new respect. They had just witnessed another example of why humans were unlike any species they had ever known. Dr. Zixbeth sat in his office on Europa Station, reading his research paper one last time before sending it to the Galactic Medical Journal. He had titled it Humans, the Biological Titans. After 6 months of studying humans, he was ready to share his findings with the galaxy. "Are you sure about this?" Dr. Lisa Montgomery asked, looking over his shoulder at the paper. "It's going to cause quite a stir." "The galaxy needs to know the truth about humans," he replied. All 4 of his eyes focused on the screen. "Your species is remarkable." The paper started with basic human biology, but quickly moved to the amazing cases he had seen. He wrote about Kevin Martins walking through vacuum with a broken pressure suit. He described Amy Chen's incredibly fast healing. He detailed how Peter Collins worked for 36 hours straight during the power core emergency. "Human bodies can survive conditions that would kill most species," he wrote. "They continue functioning when our medical knowledge says they should be dead. Their healing abilities break every rule we thought we knew about biology." When the paper was published, the reaction was immediate. Messages flooded in from doctors across the galaxy. Some were excited. Others were scared. Many didn't believe it. "These claims cannot be true," wrote one alien doctor. "No species can survive such extremes. If humans are this tough, they could be dangerous," another warned. But Dr. Zixbeth had proof. He had recorded everything. He had scanned data, medical readings, and videos. The evidence was clear. Humans were tougher than anyone had imagined. The paper explained how humans could live with missing organs. It showed how they could work through pain that would paralyze other species. It described their amazing healing abilities and their strange talent for surviving things that should kill them. Most amazing of all, Dr. Zixfeth wrote, is their mental strength. Humans can ignore their body's warnings and keep going when all logic says they should stop. They simply refuse to give up. The paper caused huge debates in the medical community. Some alien species wanted to study humans more. Others wanted to stay far away from them. A few military leaders started asking worried questions about human capabilities. Dr. Lisa found Dr. Zixfeth in his office, reading the responses to his paper. "You've caused quite an uproar," she said. "Half the galaxy is amazed by us, and the other half is terrified." "They should be amazed, not afraid," he replied. "Think of what we could learn from humans. Your healing abilities alone could help so many species." A group of alien medical students arrived at Europa Station, eager to learn about humans. They followed Dr. Zixfeth through the medical bay, taking notes on everything they saw. "Watch and learn," he told them. "Humans will surprise you every day. Just when you think you understand their limits, they will show you they have none." The paper became the most read article in the Galactic Medical Journal's history. Dr. Zixfeth received awards for his research. But he wasn't finished studying humans. "There is still so much to learn," he told Lisa. "We have only scratched the surface of human capabilities." "Wait until they learn about human children," Lisa said again, smiling. "Kids bounce back from injuries even faster than adults." Dr. Zixfeth's skin changed color at the thought. "Perhaps that will be my next research paper," he said. "The galaxy needs to understand that humans are not just tough. They are getting tougher with each generation." As he worked on his next paper, more alien doctors came to Europa Station to study humans. The medical bay became a place where species from across the galaxy came to learn about these amazing beings who could survive almost anything. "Remember," Dr. Zixfeth told each new group of students, "humans are not just patients. They are teaching us to rethink everything we know about what life can do." 1 year had passed since Dr. Zixfeth first watched Lisa Montgomery work through a radiation leak. Europa Station's medical bay looked very different now. Alien and human doctors worked side by side, learning from each other every day. "Welcome to the first official human-alien medical training program," Lisa announced to a room full of eager students from 20 different species. "Here, we will learn from each other's strengths." Dr. Zixfeth stood beside her, his 4 eyes scanning the curious faces before them. Some students had scales, others had tentacles, and a few even glowed. They all wanted to learn about human medicine. "In this program," he explained, "you will learn how humans survive things that should be impossible. But more importantly, you will learn why this matters for all species." The medical bay had grown 3 times larger over the past year. New research labs studied human healing. Special scanner rooms recorded how human bodies worked. Every day brought new discoveries about human toughness. A young alien doctor named Crix raised her tentacle. "Is it true that humans can regrow their liver? Our medical books said that was impossible." "Watch this," Lisa said, bringing up a scan. "This patient lost 60% of their liver in an accident. Within months, it grew back completely." The alien students whispered in amazement. Their written notes floated in the air around them as they recorded everything. "But physical healing is only part of the story," Dr. Zixfeth added. "Humans have something else, something we're still trying to understand. They have willpower that defies biological limits." Just then, the medical bay doors opened. A human worker walked in, holding his stomach and looking slightly pale. "Hi, docs," he said calmly. "Pretty sure my appendix is about to burst. Mind taking a look?" The alien students stared in shock. Their scanners showed the man was in severe pain, yet he had walked himself to the medical bay and was speaking normally. "How are you standing?" One student asked, "Your pain readings are extreme." The man shrugged. "It's just pain. Figured I'd come in before it got really bad." Dr. Sixveth turned to his students. "Watch and learn. This is what we've been talking about. A human choosing to ignore pain that would paralyze most species." As they treated the patient, Lisa and Dr. Sixveth explained everything to the students. They showed how human bodies handle trauma, how they fought infection, and how quickly they healed. "1 year ago," Dr. Sixveth told his students later, "I thought I knew everything about medicine. Then I met humans. They taught me that biology has no fixed rules. Life finds a way. And humans find more ways than most." The program grew famous across the galaxy. More alien doctors came to study humans. Human doctors shared their knowledge about survival and healing. Everyone learned from each other. "We're building more than a medical program," Lisa told Dr. Sixveth one evening. "We're building understanding between species." He agreed. "When I first met humans, I thought you were fragile. Now I know better. You're not fragile. You're flexible. You bend but don't break. You fall but get back up. You survive when survival seems impossible." A new group of alien medical students arrived that day. As they watched their first human patient recover from surgery faster than any alien would, one student turned to Dr. Sixveth. "Does anything stop humans?" the student asked. Dr. Sixveth's skin changed to a color of amusement. "We've been asking that question for a year now," he said. "So far, the answer seems to be no. Just when we think we found their limits, humans show us we're wrong." Lisa smiled as she checked on her patients. The medical bay was full of life. Humans and aliens working together, learning from each other, growing stronger together. "We're just getting started," she said. "There's so much more to learn about what different species can do." And she was right. Europa Station had become more than a medical facility. It was a place where the impossible became possible, where limits were broken, and where the galaxy learned that being different made everyone stronger.